afternoon before we call it a day and head out for drinks. I'd like to introduce you to Tim Salmon. He's the General Manager of Reflex Marine. Tim has over 15 years experience in international logistics and risk management. In the 4 years that Tim has been working with Reflex Marine, he has focused on managing logistics requirements as well as formulating strategies for managing risks within the supply chain. Tim is now closely involved in all areas of business, from production and capacity management to following and analysing external trends impacting the industry. He is also continuously exploring opportunities to diversify the business in other offshore sections and other geographical regions. Tim has vast knowledge with the overall offshore business and is one of the main company's assets in growing the business. Tim's presentation is Risk in Personnel Transfer by Crane. So please welcome Tim.
Thank you very much for that introduction. I'm here to talk to you today about risks in personnel transfer, but firstly a little bit about Reflex Marine. So in the past 20 years we've been leading the way in safe crane transfer solutions. We have over 800 transfer devices currently operating globally, and we transfer approximately 1 million people per year in our devices. And we also have a global partner network which services and trains all of our customers. So why personnel transfer by Crane? Well, to demonstrate some wider context, there are approximately 16 million offshore crew transfers per year. This is mainly oil and gas focused. This is our predominant industry, so this is where this data comes from. 9 million are performed by helicopter, 7 million by marine transfer, and 5 million of those are conducted by crane transfers. So what are the transfer methods? Well, these are the typical methods that we can find. Crane, gangway, swing rope, step over and ladders, and also helicopter. Some of the advantages of crane transfer, we believe, offer greater safety. They increase the operational envelope in an operation. There's less maintenance required for crane transfer devices. It provides a greater flexibility and more cost-effective solution. And what about the transfer applications? Well, the routine ones are, of course, crew changes. One of the largest we know about is the FPSO Baobab off the Ivory Coast. That currently transfers approximately 250 people per day. Operational interfield transfers, contingency measures. So this is where a vessel may well have a heave-compensated gangway. A crane transfer device would be used as a contingency in case of downtime and maintenance. Emergency and medical transfers and evacuation and demanning. Obviously, as we've been discussing today, the ship-to-ship and ship-to-shore operations personnel transfers also occur. But some more diverse and alternative operations that we've seen in our business. From distressed vessel access, we work with a Coast Guard agency who use crane transfer devices to access distressed vessels. Also wheelchair access, single point mooring. As we can see in the picture here, this is the Sacklin 1 De Castries single point mooring system. There is a crane transfer device customized for that, which they use for demanning or evacuation if they need to. And also multiple casualty evacuation, where units can be converted to hold multiple casualties in stretchers. And expanding out these typical operations, we're looking at a number of things currently being assessed internally, and that involves using crane transfer devices for rescues at sea, as well as underway transfers, and also cargo and luggage transfers, where an operator may well not want to change out the transfer device and rather convert it in a very quick manner into a cargo or luggage transfer device. So what do we know and understand about crane transfer risks? Over 20 years, we started compiling an incident database to identify and analyse key risks in crane personnel transfer from analysing some 116 incidents which we know about, we were able to establish that over half of those incidents involved a person or multiple persons falling, whilst other incidents involved impacts or collisions. To a lesser extent, incidents involved entanglement, deck crew, and immersion. However, it still demonstrates risks that are apparent during normal transfer operations. To analyse this data further, we started looking where and when these incidents had occurred. So, maybe not unsurprisingly, the most dynamic area of a transfer operation is the vessel. And in our offshore industry, in the oil and gas industry, we recognise that approximately 68% of those incidents occurred on the vessel. But what about when? Well, we analysed that same data and we established that maybe that, not so predictably, that the majority of incidents were on pickup of the basket or transfer device, which shows that it could have been that the crane line was misaligned with the vessel, and as the crane has picked up the basket, that the transfer device has swung and a collision has occurred. So what are the major risks? This is what we identify as the major risks of personnel transfer by crane. So vertical impact or heavy landings. This could be a vessel rising up to meet a carrier as it heaves in the swell. Lateral impacts. These are more likely to occur when swing is caused by loss of station keeping. Falling, sudden jerks in the crane line, a passenger could lose grip and fall. Immersion, statistically this risk is unlikely to happen, it's a low risk occurrence. However, it is recognised that immersion can carry a greater risk of fatality than some other risks. Trip and entanglement. So passengers entering or exiting the device could get entangled within the device or on a loose tagline on the deck. And also incidents involving the crew. They are rare, but transfer devices are picked up and landed on a heaving vessel can result in a collision with a deck crew. The risks presented here are focused on personnel transfer. However, broader risks, lifting risks, which have been discussed, such as environmental factors, sea state, weather, crew knowledge and experience, and also down to equipment maintenance, are just as important and should be taken into consideration. So, how can we mitigate against these risks? These are what we call our 10 golden rules. So, let's go through them. Understand your risks. Every operation is unique. Perform a risk assessment to help ensure you understand the site-specific risks. Be familiar with your conditions. Check the prevailing weather, sea, tides, currents. Discuss vessel positioning and station keeping with the vessel master and crane operator. Know your vessels. The specific vessel engaged is a major consideration. Pay particular attention to station keeping and stability. A large, clear landing area, free from adjacent obstacles, will reduce risks. Crew competence, familiarity with the installation and communications, particularly radio and hand signals, are also key factors. Know your cranes. Be aware of the limitations. Cranes should be maintained well, with all appropriate certification in place. Oh, sorry. Know your transfer device. Carriers on the market range from the very basic to the more protective. Select equipment suitable for your operating envelope and levels of risk. Ensure all equipment is in safe working condition. Rigging, such as slings, lifting assemblies, are of particular importance and are prone to damage and deterioration. Equipment should be maintained in accordance with the manufacturer's recommendations. Be familiar with your crews. The training and competence of vessel and installation crews is a key consideration and should be addressed in company policies. Crane operators and vessel masters have particularly important roles to play. Ensure proper PPE is worn by all passengers and crews at all times. Plan your lift. Dangerous collisions can occur when transfer devices that are misaligned with the crane hook swing upon pick up from the vessel. Harsh weather can obviously exacerbate this problem. If in doubt, stop. Perform trial transfer runs without passengers. If there are still doubts with the ability to perform the operation safely, suspend the operation. And recognise complex operations. Many factors can complicate transfer operations and increase risks. Such risks should be managed and recognised. Common factors include lifting from a moving structure, monohull vessels and floating platforms, for example. Extreme weather and poorly specified vessels, inexperienced crews and poor installation layout can also impact on this. Where appropriate, seek expert advice. And finally, emergency planning. Crane transfer can be an essential tool for managing emergencies, such as medical evacuations. Integrating crane transfers into your emergency planning, performing drills, will give you some extra mitigation against these risks. Now, some of these points will be familiar and part of routine STS operation procedures already. For us, it comes down to planning, knowledge, experience, and awareness of the whole operation. And working with industry partners, we have developed these 10 golden rules for crane transfer. Myself and John have some copies if you would like one afterwards, no problem. Expanding out into wider industry on risk, knowledge and awareness, we co-founded the Marine Transfer Forum, which is an independent forum to encourage industry-wide systematic data gathering, analysis and reporting for marine transfers. So for such an important area of activity, we can track, learn and develop safety practices. The forum also has several papers available to it. We commissioned the DNV on the risks of marine personnel, marine transfer of personnel offshore, and we've also got a downloadable draft paper on the guidelines of offshore personnel transfer by crane. Those are still draft, so you're free to comment on them if you wish. And just for 2016, the transfer forum will be free of charge to join in case you're interested. Finally, here are a couple of slides on how we aim to improve safety and minimise risks apparent in personnel transfer by crane through innovation. So over the last 20 years, we've strived to continue to assess our product design, to improve and evolve our devices into safer, more operationally capable products. Through rigorous testing and verification during the design phase, we have developed a family of products which, with the capacity to carry 4, 6 and 10 persons, all seated, that perform in significant wave heights of up to 4 meters, which protect against the key risks of lateral impact, vertical impact, passengers falling and immersion. As well as our current product range, we continue to develop our products with focus on protecting against key risks in personnel transfer. So WAVE is a new standing device, and this will be available in May and protects against those key risks in personnel transfer by crane. It offers lateral and vertical impact protection, fall prevention, medical evacuation support, and has floating and self-rising capabilities. This device is specifically designed to have simple maintenance routine, a lifespan of up to 10 years, and which we hope will result in cost-effective ownership. Our hope is that this new standing device will improve safety and reduce risks in personnel transfer by crane. And that's it. I'm Tim Salmon from Reflex Marine, and our mission is to improve standards for personnel transferred offshore. Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Of course. Still from liquid transfer technology. Beautiful, but we don't do any STS operation at the platform. We do it at ship to ship.
Yes.
And if you take the oil major, Shell, BP, Exxon, they do not allow transfer unless the crane and the driver is a crew certified person and the crane is crew right. So far, been about 120, just I remember here, STS operation, where we are using what you are familiar with Billy Cock?
Yeah.
Yeah. With a crane, it's not, jerk-free. Those cranes you're talking about here, they are jerk-free. They are running simultaneously. No crane on the tanker is jerk-free. It goes in jerk. Plus, sometimes you have, if you don't, maybe you can see as a loop, a wire loop on the drum, and then you have this jerk also in the falling. And I think you will find many accidents, people falling out because of the jerk and the crew member. They just check whatever they are. If they ask for one thing, that's all.
Okay, thank you. Do you see many incidents with using the Billy Pew?
Sorry?
Do you see many incidents using a Billy Pew?
Those ships I refuse to go on, especially in offshore. They cannot provide boat around. But as I said, the oil major say if it's not certified, the crane can run a jerk ring certified for personnel transfer, then don't use it. Then they order the boat. But we have talked about many of this commercial pressure, because if you are OPL Malta, it's about 10 miles, 12 nautical miles out. And just to transfer a guy from one ship to the other, it's only the oil majors that do it, all the other ones don't.
Okay, thank you.
Alex?
And not in crew.
I have a question. In case a ship owner decides to buy one of these transfer baskets for his vessel, how easy will be for him to maintain it?
Very, very easy. Very easy. It will only need a visual inspection maybe every 6 months, and then an examination every 12 months, depending on the usage. What we do say is that the lifting assembly, because it's the most critical part of the unit, be changed out 12 months no matter what. And that's a small price to pay for keeping the unit ready and waiting. As the life is up to 10 years or 10 years plus, we think that the maintenance regime is going to be that simple that it's a relatively simple process, definitely. That we say competent persons could maintain these units very easily, and our customers do maintain them themselves. They don't have to put them ashore. They can remain on the installation or vessel.
Thank you.
Are they class approved?
They are CE marked. Our legacy units are ABS approved. The latest ones are CE to the EC Machinery Directive. But we are looking to get them. We can also provide an ABS statement of fact with these units.
Legacy units means those you've been using offshore.
Yes. Yeah.
These are specifically for the tanker. Or you're targeting, you're marketing them.
We would say that the standing device is more for the tanker market. I mean, the operational limits are going to be less than 2 meter significant wave height, we would say. So that is what we would use. This particular unit on the screen is a high performance harsh weather unit. That's for up to 4 meter kind of significant wave height. So I wouldn't say that would be for a tanker market.
It's one question. How do you store this on the tanker? It's only one piece.
It's a very interesting question. We don't have any on tankers yet, so I guess that is for you guys to tell us. It's a rigid basket. It's non-collapsible. We're not going to get away from that. But what we would recommend is putting a protective cover on it, and if you need to store it on the deck, then lash it down or fix it down. They're pretty sturdy things. It's a stainless steel frame with plastic MDP buoyancy, so it's not going to deteriorate in that environment, but lashing it down I think is probably the safe option. Okay.
John?
Just maybe something for the forum to consider, and I know often from all these guys, as our friend at the back here has said, oil majors, they don't like using these types of devices or any type of personnel transfers from cranes on tankers, and the main reason is that the crane isn't certified for man riding. So maybe is that something that we should be looking at as an industry to make the operation safer? Is you've got your crane on your tanker anyway, do we now look at sort of man riding cranes, and then you can make the whole operation safer? I've just come back from Angola where we were working 90 miles offshore, heavy swells, no real wind waves, and the vessels are moving quite a lot, and if we could use a basket transfer, and this was with BP, it would make life a lot easier for everybody. But basically our policy was that you do not use baskets offshore, although some of the other oil majors, one of which you did mention, does use a basket offshore, although he will deny it in public.
Is that a ship-to-ship operation? Is it? Or
So this is basically using the support vessels. So
right.
this is,
Okay.
The supply vessels we were using, converted supply vessels for transferring personnel.
Okay.
But the risk of people having to transfer off the bow of a sort of 80, 90 metre supply boat onto a pilot ladder in sort of 2 or 3 metre swells is extremely dangerous. And as has been alluded to by other people, unless you visit regularly, it can be dangerous. So offshore there, you've got government officials which attend every export, to do the transfers. These guys in their leather shoes with no grip, not always wearing appropriate PPE. If they can get away with it, the risks are there for everybody. So
Yeah.
this has been there for 30 after transfer as well.
That's interesting because we actually have quite a few units with BP in Angola.
Oh yeah, we use the units, but that's off the FPSOs. BP use the units. That's off the FPSOs themselves.
Okay.
So they use the frogs.
Yeah.
But then you have got to get them certified on an annual basis, send them ashore, etc. So
Yeah.
you need 2 units to go to very safe.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
No questions? Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.